come on. Whoa. Did you guys see that? Woo-wee! What a nice morning today. Like 65-ish degrees. Well, let's go. Come on. We're gonna spend most of today on the Bronco, hopefully finishing up the engine beautification process. But we had, it's Monday. It's Tuesday after Labor Day weekend, and we go west and do a small town Labor Day summer type thing. God bless America. Every year for Labor Day, it's a family, in-law family thing. Great time, great people. So I didn't get much done over the weekend. Well, I didn't get anything done over the weekend. But yeah, we're gonna get back on the Bronco. Let's see, into the day before we left for Labor Day fun times. We did get the power steering reservoir painted and the cooler. We got to unmask that stuff. We have the pulley that we're gonna have to paint. So that's no big deal. We'll get it up probably before we even go in and get a Dr. Pepper. I know, I mean, that's pretty important stuff, but I'd like to get this hung on the painting tree and drying so that as soon as we get back from Dr. Pepper, we've got everything to really start getting back together on this engine. But yeah, we'll throw the power steering back on it, the front bracketry, the alternator, the distributor's got to go in, and then at some point we'll clean up the radiator, get a coat of paint on it. Yeah, let's see what we can actually get done, huh? Here's that stud that was, I guess, seized in the power steering bracket, and it was probably, I already have it screwed in way farther than it was. It was probably threaded in about that far. We're gonna go ahead and bottom it out in this hole here, so we know that we're not going to have that problem again in the future. Remove our engine plug that we used for the distributor hole. That was an awesome fix or workaround. We took a picture when we took it out, and we haven't turned the engine at all, so we should be able to. There she goes. Alright, updates. Power steering in, loosely, not hooked up, obviously no belts or nothing. Alternator in. Electricals on this side of the engine compartment hooked up, ready to roll. We do not have battery tray in yet. Still have to deal with that. We did paint the steering shaft because, well, I was putting that off, and then we tried to install the power steering without doing it, and that's just not going to be a possibility. So we went ahead and did that, then put the power steering in. Distributors in, vacuum lines are in and sorted. Most of the engine electricals, gauges and stuff, we got to hook up the oil pressure gauge here. The hard line from the fuel pump to the carburetor's in. I got to move this clamp and get it sorted. But for now, let's talk radiators. This is the factory radiator for this machine, and it's in excellent condition. I'm not going to replace it. In fact, let's take it out here in the bright sunshine. It's like 95 degrees, guys. It's pretty hot today. But let's take it out here, see if we can't see inside. There's a waspy flying around. Dang it. How about right up against the four-wheeler? There we go. All right, first time through these. I always like to blow from the back to the front because that's more the opposite of the wind flow. Well, we're getting a little bit out. Alright, let's go rinse it out with water and see what comes out when we put liquid through it. So this system did have a little bit of rust in it, but that's about it. No chunks, no, of course, for sure no oil, that kind of stuff. If I've got the hose tucked into the upper there, let's turn it on and see what comes out the lower. Come on. Here we go. So far we just got some coolant colored water. Oh yeah, guys, this is gonna be just fine. This is a good old radiator right here. And what you do is you take your hand and you go whoop, plug her up and let her roll. Plug her up. Then let her roll. Yeah, that's good flowage. I'm pleased. We aren't, okay, we'll do it one more. You guys want to. Here we go. I'm gonna let go. Right now. Oh, now, okay. There we go. And that is the extent of the radiator flushing. Now, okay, we got to go over to the painting table. Now, it's a little farther walk than the painting tree. It's over here. Here's the other 69. I told you it was back here. It's, patiently waiting for us to dig the air conditioning out of it and then put the big block and the trans out of it into the tiny dart and raise a little, what. There it is. Here's the painting tree. And I also told you Freedom 1 was back here. We're patiently waiting for next summer. Rumor has it, ladies and gentlemen, rumor has it that there might be like 3 counties in the local areas here having trailer races at fair next year. So we might have to adjust our planning just a little bit and build a car that'll like withstand a season and not just one race. So I don't know, we'll see what comes, but we'll keep y'all kind of informed on that. Anyway, this old picnic table was here when we bought the place, tucked back here in the trees, and well, Jalen, I think, made it the painting table over the years, and so we're just going to continue that tradition and put a little paint on this radiator. I didn't have any gloss engine enamel, but we've got some Rust-Oleum, and it should do well. Let's see. Alright, we'll be fine. Well, back in the day when you'd take your Radiator to the Radiator shop, they'd do their magic, but then just to make sure that you knew that they did magic to it, they'd give it a coat of gloss black paint. I don't know if your Radiator shop did that or not. Comment down below if they did or didn't. I guess it doesn't make much difference, I guess, but it kind of made a guy or gal feel good about paying the bill when they got their Radiator back and it had a shiny coat of black paint on it. Of course, that stuff was, I don't know what kind of paint it was, but it stayed tacky for about 12 weeks. We'll let this will be the back side. Let that dry a few minutes. We'll flip her around and do the other side. We're pretty well, don't have coolant in it, but other than no coolant, we're pretty much reassembled engine wise. Everything looks good. Oh, and I need a ground cable for the battery. Otherwise, everything's ready. Heater hoses turned out great. Heater valves in. All the linkages are there. The vacuum lines, if they were pliable, I gotta put this back on. I was tightening this hose. If the cool stripe colored vacuum lines were still pliable and good, we kept them. We replaced on vacuum lines that did not look good. One questionable item is the idle stop solenoid. The Mises got to the connector in the first 1.5 inches or so of the wire. There's two options really. You can replace on the unit and adjustimulate it to where it works. And we can probably adjustimulate this one too. Well, there's three options. Keep this one, adjust it to where it works, and life will be pretty happy. It's missing the little rubber boot here. Replace it and get it so it works. Or if the thing runs pretty good without it, we might delete on this piece. The reason we're exploring our options and not just tossing another one on here, from what I can tell, to get the right one, about $80. You know, and there's a lot of places where a guy or gal can throw $80 in here. Maybe that's not the most important thing to have available. The owner could take this with a couple other original parts that they're going to hang on to, put it in a box, and know that it's there if they ever want to sell it, or, you know, address it later, and then we can just hide this other connector up under the wire loom, and life will be pretty good. So I'm kind of leaning towards deleting it, but we'll have to see how it goes. Now this coolant reservoir, and I made up my mind, so you know, you can comment, I guess, but by the time you comment, it will have already been done. It's got these, you know, there's pop rivets all over this thing, but for some reason, for these little brackets that hug the tank here, and they're rusty and they need to be blasted and painted, they used steel star type washer rivets. And then they have studs, and it actually bolts through the fender, whereas everything else is held down with self tappers. So I've decided we're going to treat these like pop rivets. We're going to drill these out, get these brackets off. That way we can clean everything up really nicely, paint those brackets, and then we'll reinstall them using some pop rivets. So that's the plan. Drill out those two little rivets and get the cleaning. Alright, the brackets are on the painting tree, drying, and we're going to clean this tank inside and out. You've seen this trick probably used on gas tanks, other types of holding tanks, where you want to get the insides clean just like the outside is going to be clean. And so what we're going to do is, we've got the inlet blocked off with a vacuum cap. We're going to put a little bit of simple green in here. Okay, maybe, I don't know, maybe a quarter cup is all. I think this is the concentrate. Yeah, this is concentrated. So we got that. And then we have an abundance of 1/4-inch lock washers in our bolt bin. So I just grabbed a whole handful of those. We're going to throw them in there. Oh, one more. And we're going to take this out to the yard hydrant. Still haven't hauled our first load of metal in yet, but we'll get her there. We're gonna fill this about third full. Kind of even looks like coolant. We're gonna snap on the lid. There's the FedEx guy. You stopping today? No, not today. He's not. We're just gonna kind of take this, turn it all directions. Okay, that should do it. Should be right. Now we're going to take a bucket and we'll just pour all this solution . There. They all came out, I think. I'm going to run this out to the hydrant and rinse it a few hundred times, and then we'll clean the outside, probably using the same solution minus the washers. We'll give the outside a little scrub and we should be in pretty good shape. Okay, brackets are painted, tank is clean, and we are going to install some new 3/16 inch aluminum. Oopsie, hole's not big enough. We're going to drill some holes bigger and then we'll reinstall some 3/16 inch aluminum rivets. Okay, holes enlarged. One. Two. Here's newer. Here's your final product there. Huh, that'll work. Unfortunately, I wasn't even going to video this, but then I thought, there's negatives to positives, and sometimes you just got to be a little transparent. I made a mistake. Yeah, the creeper, the Bronco's still up in the air. We're still rolling around underneath it, and this is because of my own self-induced error. Distributor's back out. what had happened was, and this is a couple videos ago when we tore this engine down for beautification. Gosh, where was it? Somewhere up in here. There was a small hose clamp on the fuel line. And when I popped the fuel line off, the small hose clamp landed somewhere in this area here. But I couldn't see it because of the vacuum lines and whatever else was in the way, and it was dirty and the engine was dirty and everything else. So we went ahead with teardown. No big deal, right? And then, I kid you not, that hose clamp lived up here during the removal of just about everything. The distributor was out, and I was moving some, I think I might have just been in here cleaning up these sensors, and the little tiny hose clamp was still camouflaged there, and I bumped it. And you can guess where it went when I bumped it. It went down there. Now, there's the silver linings is, I heard it tink tonk tink and then thunk against the oil pan. So it made it all the way through. That's extremely good to know. So what do we do? And you know, in the meantime, we went ahead with engine beautification because I didn't want to think about it, and I wasn't sure how I was going to deal with it. So now we're to the point where it's time to put some fluids back in this thing and get it running. So plan A, and I didn't take any video, but we drained the oil back out of the thing, and I got, you can see down here, I've got 1, 2, 3, and then a loose round magnet. We fished from the oil pan as far up as we could reach. Luckily, not a lot of baffling in here, but the oil pickup tube was restricting some of our access. But we fished with our small magnet and couldn't get anything, you know, snagged up. So plan B, and this one worked temporarily. We took, we'll get down for this one. We took our dead blow hammer, and here, I'm gonna make sure you guys can see. We took our dead blow hammer and we were rapping on this part of the oil pan, and I was hitting right about here, and every time I hit it you could hear something inside bounce. Okay, that's good, but unfortunately I got kind of excited when I found it, and I hit it like 3 or 4 more times, and then it stopped bouncing. So I thought, well, maybe it bounced down. We did some more fishing, but I don't know. And maybe, is the dead blow still close by? Yeah. Maybe we can make it do it again. I don't know. Yeah. Now it's just hollow metal. So it's not moving around like it was. So now we're on to plan 3C.4. Yeah. We're pulling the pan. It's possible and probable, probably about a high 90s, 97-8% probable, that once this thing fired up, that little hose clamp would just stay in the bottom of the pan, and if anything, work its way down to the lower sump portion of the pan and really, you know, get out of the way and stay out of the way of everything. But there's that 1 or 2% chance that, you know, say, you know, you get a little excited one night and you hit a ditch too hard, or you hit a train track too hard, and that piece of metal hose clamp finds its way into the rotating assembly. Well, then you got a problem, right? So it's not worth it on this vehicle that runs so well. We're pulling the pan. So now you're up to speed. I screwed up. I could get a cork gasket today at the Irish parts store, but if we're going to pull the pan, we're going to go with a one-piece silicone rubber gasket, which I've already ordered for tomorrow. So, not the worst mistake ever, and given that we could be talking, you know, if it hadn't fallen all the way down, we could be talking disassembly of the engine. Either way, we should be able to find our little hose clamp when we pull the pan and yeah, fix our little screw up here. So, note to selves, when you're disassembling things on the top side of the engine, you know, we've all had probably the close calls or even the bad calls where things drop down into the intake. That's one problem, but the orifices, the openings in the top of the engine, whether it's coolant, crankcase cavity, valve covers, intake, when you're taking stuff apart, be mindful of those, and be mindful of the loose gadgetries, pieces, parts, and crud, and tools. Yeah, tools. Don't drop tools down in there either. So yeah, we're gonna finish popping this pan off. I'll get you under there. We did get lucky. The retainer bolt for the dipstick tube acted like it was going to break off in the exhaust manifold, but we were able to coax it out, no problem. But yeah, let's crawl under here again. I thought we were done getting dripped on, but you know, it is what it is. Let's get her fixed up and get back on track with this rescue here. Alright, all the bolts are out on the passenger side, which is closer to you. Now we're going to run down the driver's side and get these. Get in here. Cooperate. There we go. Oh, here we go. Yep. Got her. Oops. Ooh, that was pretty loose. There you go. Okay, onesie. Twosie. There we go. Yeah, it's not gonna. Is that a? Hold on a second. Oh, no wonder I couldn't pull the dipstick tube out. I didn't know it had a fastener, like the just like the trans dipstick. There's a nut on there. Cool. Let's what, 9/16, 5/8, something like that. There we go. Okay, hold on now. It's gonna be okay. I don't know. Okay, we gotta go up top and this might fall. So if it, you know, put your hand up here if it starts to come down for me, because I got to go up top of that dipstick tube is turned around and got caught a little bit. So hold that if it starts to fall. There. Now I can get her. Wow, guys. There we go. All right. Did it fall, or you're holding it? Thanks for holding on to that. I'll be back. I'll get it here. Thanks for holding it for me. Okay, we're making headway now. The front had to go back up. We had to do a little pry on it because I got a little excited taking it down. And, you know, got it past the little lip that it wasn't. Okay, now this guy's... What needs to happen? Here, this needs to come out. That's what needs to happen. Okay, let's do that. There. See, now that's how things are supposed to kind of happen. And then we got, there, a little sideways action. There we go. Okay. There we go. And, oh, see, you guys didn't have to hold that really after all, but I appreciate you doing it. Yeah. Okay, let's get you over here. Oh, I'm filthy. All right, well, kind of success, I guess. All that for this guy right here. That's my hose clamp. Now, like I said, there's silver linings to this kind of stuff. Over the years, some sludge has built up in the bottom of this pan. We're going to clean this all up. We're going to put silicone rubber gasket on it. Getting this layer of goo out of here is a real bonus. Because that's probably stuff that, you know, when we had this running a little bit off and on and changed the oil and ran it again, it's probably dirt and goo that was in other places in the engine and ran down here. So this is going to be good. All right, day 2. We are working on the oil pan. We pulled the pan because we dropped a hose clamp in it. That's all water under the bridge, so to speak. But while we're in there, you know, it's prudent to go ahead and change the rear main seal and put a better pan gasket on. So we ordered that stuff, and the replacement seal is a neoprene job, which we would expect. Unfortunately, the original seal in these engines is a rope seal. So this is actually cotton rope that you smush into that cavity, and then you can see here this kind of this shiny part is what has rubbed against the crankshaft all these years. These seals work fairly well, but when they get old, they deteriorate, period. Bottom half of this seal, easy enough to get out. It comes out with the main cap, and you can just pop it right out of there. Top half is still in the engine on top of the seal surface at the back of the crank, and wedged between that and the block. So if it were a new style seal, we could take some pressure off that last main bearing cap, maybe the back two, and lightly tap on one end and work it out. The whole seal will kind of roll out like that. You can't do that because this is rope, and if you tap on it, it'll just smush down in there. So not too long ago, we did this on a Studebaker engine, an old 49, and it was easy. It was on the engine stand, so we just loosened up the crank and got it out. But we don't want to have to drop the crank on this thing. There is another method. Oh my gosh. That we're gonna try. This is really supposed to be a two-man job, and I should wait for Jalen to get home from school, but I'm gonna try it once, or a little bit anyway, by myself here, just to see if we can't figure it out. I gotta move you, and we gotta do this. No, we can't see. You may not. All right, I'm just gonna show you what we're doing here, because you won't be able to watch real time. So what you do is you take a screw. In this case, it's an actual drywall screw, and you screw it into one end of the rope seal. Okay, and then this is the other end. I tried pulling a little bit on this end and got some frayed end pieces. It's just gonna fall apart. So we got a screw in over here. It's screwed in a good inch, so it's gonna want to hold on to that. And then what we've got at the front of the engine, we've got our ratchet on the crank, and we're going to turn the engine direction towards the screw, which would be counterclockwise, while we put a vice grip on that screw back there and pull at the same time on the rope seal. I've honestly never tried this before, but we're going to use the nice big vice grips. And we're gonna, should probably say a little prayer. Clip you on here. Okay, we're on there. So I'm pulling here, and then at the same time, put my little cheater on my ratchet, and we're going to turn the engine. Did the vice grip move? Holy cow, you guys, it's working. It's working. All right. Click, click, click. Pull and pull. Okay. It didn't come as much that time, I don't think. But it's we got about an inch or so. Yeah. All right. We're gonna, give me a rag here. Maybe that can help me grip this better. Oh, darn it. Okay. I'll show you where we got to. Yeah. We might be able to get on there. Okay. We made some headway. You can see right there, we've got about an inch of it coming out. Now we're going to get the little needle nose vice grips on here and see if we can actually pull on the seal itself and get some movement. Alright, needle nose vice grips, engage. I don't have super high hopes for this. I think this rope seal is just going to tear, but if it does, we'll reinstall the screw and do that again. Let's see here. Yeah, it's tearing already. Yeah, that's all we're doing right there, is just getting junk. So this is going to be a process, I guess. Oh, wait a minute. I'm getting something here, guys. It's coming. Here, look at this. Second attempt. It's sliding right out now. Where am I at? There I am. See that? It's coming. There we go. Awesome. Right there. That's my seal. Woo! Boy, that's a huge relief. I think this is pretty universal. On the cap side, if you've got an engine that factory had a rope seal and you're replacing it with a rubber, you know, new seal, whatever the material may be, silicone, rubber, whatever, there's a nail or a spike right here in the bearing cap, and you have to knock that down before the new seal will sit down in there all the way. So remember that if you're doing one of these jobs, knock this little pin out and life will be pretty good, I think. Woo! We're gonna clean this up. All right, we've got our rear main cap with our seal set up. That's what I mean by, here, put it up against there, by rotating that seal and not expecting everything to seal along that attachment line horizontally. You're gonna have this side of the seals up a little bit, this side's a little down in there, and the corresponding side in the engine will be just the opposite. That'll help kind of, you know, offset that a little bit, theoretically. Okay, rear main seals in, caps back on. All the caps have been retorqued to 70 foot-pounds. We went 45 and then we went 70, and we alternated according to the torque procedure. So, okay, we are upgrading pan gaskets on this Bronco whenever there's a choice, and for most V8s there is. I always go with the blue Velcro. Molly makes similar stuff, but so much better than cork and rubber, and they're one piece. We'll put a little dab of silicone on each one of these corners, just like we would if we were using 4-piece gaskets, just to ensure things. They have brass inserts. You can't over tighten them. You can actually reuse these, they claim. And then it comes with, once we get under there, I'll show you the little, it comes with little pegs with little snap levers on them. So not only does it hold your gasket up for you, but then you can snap your pan up on there as well, and it'll hold your pan kind of sort of hanging in place so you can get your bolt started. Alrighty, and just as I thought, we're got a spinner around here. Okay, but now we need to go up in front of that. Okay, there's one little snapper. There's 2, 3, and well, come on now, 4. I mean, are you starting to understand why this is the preferred, you know, type of gasket? These cooler lines are a pain in the rear. Come on. Whoa. Did you guys see that? That could have been bad. Holy smokes. That was weird. And now it's stuck on me. God dang it. I can't. Don't. Oh, well, we're supposed to be. Okay. There. There. The back's hung up. We're in good shape. We're all right. Yeah, I about got impaled. So, been using this, broomstick to hold up the hood. And it was on this side, down here behind the alternator when I was down there tinkering with the oil pan, and you heard that big loud bang. Somehow the broomstick slid off the frame and impaled my creeper right here. The hood slammed shut. I almost couldn't get out from under the Bronco because this was pushed into the creeper, but it was still up against the engine and the frame in the Bronco. And I was laying on it. So it was like, right next to me. But we survived. And quite frankly, more importantly than that, it didn't bottom out. The hood slammed shut. And the spacing must have just been right because there's no dent in the hood. Thank goodness. Okay, final update from underneath the Bronco. Oil pan is on, dipstick is in, rear main seal's replaced. Everything's tightened up, put back together there. So, we're gonna roll out of here. We filled her up with oil. We filled her up with coolant, as full as it's gonna get till it burps anyway. I need a win. We need a win on this one. It's been down for a little while getting beautified. So gosh darn it, let's get her fired back up here. Okay, we threw a random battery in it. Let's see what goes. Okay. Got the 2-stroke make it smoke fuel. Oh jeez, I just squirted all over my brand new shiny engine. See if we get a little oomph out of that. Okay, we're out of time. We've had the distributor out a couple times, and we just kind of thought, as long as we put it back the way it came out, you know how that works. Well, we must have gotten twisted around just a little bit, but so we found TDC number 1, moved the distributor, and let's give that a shot. Key on. Here we go. Oh my Lord. Wow. I love this Bronco. We're back, baby. I'm glad we took the time to do this right, It was one heck of a journey though. We took it all down, painted things, cleaned everything up, rear main seal, painted the power steering. Golly, just touched everything up. New coil, new alternator, new cap, rotor, spark plug wires, heater valves, all new hoses. Cleaned up and fixed this rust over here. Cleaned up all the accessorized. Life is looking pretty good under the hood of this Bronco. Thanks for coming along on this little journey, but we've got a long way to go with this one. We're gonna do brakes next. In fact, I've already kind of started. We've got a lot more left on this, on our other projects, and a little bit of everything else. So appreciate you watching. Click bell, subscribe, comment. We will see you on the next one.